When you think about a courageous leader, what's the first image that pops into your head? Probably someone, charging into a crisis, making that one tough, decisive call, right? That's the classic hero image. But what if the most powerful kind of courage today isn't about being fearless at all, but about something way, way deeper? Let's dig into what that really looks like.
See, this quote just totally reframes the whole idea. Real courage isn't some big external act of bravado. It's an internal thing. It's about being integrated, being whole. It's about showing up with all the parts of yourself. The confident parts, sure, but also the uncertain ones, and leading from that genuine place.
In the world we live in now, which is just constantly shifting and full of complexity, that old model of the heroic, know-it-all leader, well, it's starting to crack. So courage itself has been redesigned. It's not just a nice virtue to have anymore. It's become an absolutely critical, strategic, soft skill you need to navigate all this complexity.
And that brings us right to this core concept, brave curiosity. It's this amazing blend where courage meets genuine inquiry. It's not about pretending you have all the answers. Not at all. It's about having the strength to ask the tough questions, the right questions, and to just stay open, especially when you have no idea what's coming next.
Okay, so to really get how this works, we've got to look inward. The source material for this explainer uses a brilliant metaphor for leadership. It asks us to think of ourselves as a kind of human architecture.
So what on earth is this human architecture? Well, think of it like the invisible blueprint for how you show up in the world. It's the way your self-awareness, your emotions, and your actions all wire together to create your unique leadership presence. This structure, whether you know it or not, is the foundation of the impact you have on everyone around you. And really, there are two fundamental blueprints for this architecture. On one side, you've got a structure built on fear. It's fractured, it's usually based on pretending we know more than we do, and it just leads to total misalignment. But on the other side, you have an architecture of alignment. It's coherent, it's rooted in a clear purpose, and it naturally, easily leads to authenticity. Our goal? It's to build that second one.
So how do we actually build that stronger, more aligned architecture? Well, it rests on three core pillars. And these aren't just a random list of good qualities, okay? They work together as a system. When you have all three, they create the perfect conditions for brave curiosity to really thrive.
The very first pillar is transparency. Listen, this isn't just about radical honesty or blurting everything out. It's the courage to be open about the journey, the messy middle, the learning curves, the hey, we don't know the answer yet. It's about letting people see the process, which builds a much deeper, more resilient kind of trust than just showing up with a perfect, polished final product.
And this quote just nails the strategic power of it. Showing your work, admitting you're still figuring things out, that is not a sign of weakness. It's you leading authentically right here in the moment. And it's an invitation for your team to jump in and co-create the solution with you.
All right, pillar number 2 is vulnerability. The source calls it the nervous system of leadership, and I just love that description. Think about it. Your nervous system is what allows you to feel things. That's what vulnerability does for a leader. It's the sensory network that allows you to feel empathy, to truly connect, and to tap into the kind of creativity that only shows up when we let our guard down.
And here's the crucial myth buster. Vulnerability is not a liability. For years, leaders were taught to build up this wall of invincibility. But what we're learning is that being human, showing you're not perfect, doesn't weaken your authority. It actually makes it more relatable, more real. It builds a powerful connection. The final pillar holding this whole structure up is authenticity. So if vulnerability is the nervous system, think of authenticity as the structural integrity. It's the steel beams of your architecture. It's that deep, undeniable coherence where what you truly believe on the inside perfectly matches how you act on the outside. People can feel it when it's real, and they can definitely feel it when it's not.
Okay, so we get the architecture, we get the pillars that support it. Now let's get super practical. How do you actually build this skill? How do you practice this new kind of courage in your day-to-day life?
The source lays out 5 key micro-practices. These are small shifts designed to move you from being defended to being open. First, ask real questions you don't know the answer to, not leading ones. Second, be transparently human, show your process. Third, be willing to stand in vulnerability. Fourth, listen to actually understand, not just to argue back or win. And finally, take a few moments to reflect on when you chose curiosity over comfort.
If you only take one thing away to use immediately,
Let it be this, a simple but incredibly powerful micro-ritual. Before you walk into your very next meeting, just pause, take a breath, and ask yourself this one question. That simple little inquiry can completely shift your energy from a state of protection to a state of real presence and connection. It's a game changer.
And here's where it gets really exciting. When a leader starts making that tiny internal shift from defended to curious, it doesn't just change them, and it doesn't just change a meeting. When you practice it consistently, it starts to change the entire system around you, creating what the source calls a courage-based culture.
And the difference between the two is just night and day. A fear-based culture, it's obsessed with control, with predictability, with hierarchy. A courage-based culture, on the other hand, is built on a foundation of trust. It values contribution from everyone, not just the people at the top, and it relies on the collective intelligence of the whole group.
And the results you get are so tangible. In a culture like this, trust isn't just a buzzword, it's the actual currency of how things get done. Innovation speeds up because people aren't afraid to fail. Engagement goes through the roof because everyone feels seen and valued. And you start to develop this pipeline of future leaders who are authentic and human-centered from the start.
This quote really brings it all home. This is the ultimate competitive advantage right here. In our crazy, complex world, no single person can possibly know everything. The key to success isn't what you already know, it's how fast your team can learn and adapt together. And that speed is fueled directly by a culture of brave curiosity.
But, and this is a really big but, before we can build this kind of amazing culture, the work has to start inside each of us. It all comes back to that idea of your personal human architecture. You see, organizational change is just individual change scaled up. It all begins with self-leadership, with mastering your own inner alignment first.
So, we'll leave you with this one last, really powerful question from the source. It's a question of self-inquiry, a starting point for building your own architecture of courage. What part of your whole self are you holding back, just to feel like you're in control? And what might become possible if you finally let it be seen?